Hello everyone, I wanted to take you out on, we're going to walk around. I'm going to show you what it looks like before I do all the mowing for the pathways, and kind of do a little tour about what bushes and fruit trees and how they're doing. And kind of give me an before and after. It's been about 10 days since I cut the grass over here. It's kind of slowing down. I don't know if it's just, seasons changing or whatever, but late August is a interesting time. And just keep a note out when I'm walking around that even in the walkways themselves, the growing habits or patterns of the grasses and whatever else random seeds that I've thrown out there are, very differently, quite a lot actually. I walk around the food forest all the time, so it's not really so much a traffic thing, but just based on small little areas that are different in even a half acre. It's interesting how the growth pattern changes, so just keep an eye out on that, and we'll start walking. Okay, so right ahead, this is an area that I'd sheet mulched, and I have turmeric and ginseng, and there's a whole bunch of mint straight ahead. Of course, another maple that's popped up, but one interesting thing is one of the random tomatoes that I'd thrown that had fallen down, whatever, is actually growing, so it'll be interesting if I get any tomatoes from that one plant. And of course, there's two hascaps right there that are still growing. But I kind of like to let this grass grow a little bit longer, but just to keep up appearances, I come through and you should be able to notice a difference between the tidiness of the edges and all that after I mow. But I've tried to plant out everything that is in the pathway, and nature of course has helped me out with numerous maple trees. There's a autumn olive right there. And I'm not going to point out every single thing that I've planted, but there's a pear right in front of you. But like I said, the grass height difference between that and where we just walked is quite considerable, and I'm not sure exactly. Is that just different microclimate? Does that get more or less shade than these areas? I'm not sure, but this looks like it almost doesn't need to be mowed. And actually walking around now, I kind of don't want to cut any grass. However, as we go through here to a wetter part of the forest, and here's my latest compost pile, and there's a sea berry right there that's actually coming back. You can see the leaves right there. And there's actually another one right here. See it coming up right there next to these random wildflowers that should be flowering here next week or so. But yeah, if we move around here, the grass starts to get longer, even though they get traveled the same and they're all cut at the same time. So see, here is definitely a huge difference, but this is where a lot of the water kind of travels down and through. Got some flowers about to come out for all of the happy insects. So this will be a pretty crazy place here pretty soon. It's nice that a lot of this stuff has just popped up on its own. One of the main things that I concern myself with is the edge, both of my property and the other side. So I might actually just come through and just cut those two strips, and not worry too much about the pathways. But like I said, this area as well puts on a lot more growth. And that's just incredible. The edges themselves could be trimmed. Like I might come through with a little rice knife and just kind of tidy that up. But the length of this grass is incredibly longer. You can see my groundhog trail here. There's a culvert right behind me, and that's where they cross the street. And if they don't cross the street in the culvert, there'll probably be a racing car that comes through and ruins their day. But so now we're back to shorter grass. And we have a cherry tree right here, an apple tree, of course a maple. There's an aronia bush right here, and then another autumn olive, and then another sea berry right here. So it's planted out pretty densely, but it's nice to come through just about every once a week, 10 days, and get all this grass kind of cut down. So without further ado, I'm gonna get my lawnmower out, and I'll do a quick walk around to show you kind of the difference, especially in the longer areas over there. Yep, and that's about it. I'll see you in just a moment. It obviously looks like it's obviously been mowed. I just want to show you the comparison now, how tidied up it can be. Makes it a lot cleaner looking. I mean, it's still a mowed pathway through pretty wild food forest. But it looks, I mean, at least now it looks accessible and like somebody's taking care of it. And a lot of these pear and peach trees, and I don't know what this is, but a lot of these trees are getting larger, so easier to identify that there's a purpose behind all the madness here. Yeah, I'm just trying to kind of hurry up and get to the crazier spots that I trimmed up. I haven't done the outer edge, so you'll be able to see what kind of a difference it makes, because you kind of get used to grass growing, and at least I do. I don't really think too much of it, but that looks extremely long, even compared to that. Part of it's the tracks of the lawnmower, of course, but the grass overall being a shorter length. You can tell here in this entrance to this pathway, which, because there's a culvert right here, I try to make it so it's like, yeah, you just go this way, you don't come around too close to the right there. But this was the longer area, and I had taken my rice knife and cleaned up some of the edges here. And that way looks more inviting, I suppose. So I still got some more mowing to do, but you can tell just how much of a difference getting the grass cut makes for a wild food forest like this. And especially having the wider pathways makes a big difference. That way things like my sunchokes, Jerusalem artichokes can grow and be happy. They'll be putting on flower heads here in the next couple of weeks, I suppose. But things like that can prosper and be happy. City's happy. Even this pawpaw tree that comes back every year is somehow happy. That's one of 4 total that I have now. I planted 6. But there's one like right there on the other side of this tree, and then there's one on the far side there. And I'll be coming through. I have an order for like 25 trees, 26 trees. And some of them are going to go right around here on this tree. But yeah, I'm ordering more peach, plums, pears, random persimmons, and something that's like an apricot / plum, like a prium. So I'll make sure I record that. I enjoy just the planting of things, so sometimes I don't always record what I'm doing, but try to at least show you where I've kind of planted everything. Especially, and also I'm kind of waiting, maybe next year everything will be just that much taller. so it won't be so difficult for me to walk around and point. Like for example, through just this part, but there's a Allegheny serviceberry right here that I bought from the city, and there's a peach tree right there. So if I keep my, if somebody new comes through and keeps their eyes open, I mean, maybe they'd catch half of what's here, but I planted everything, and I regularly am surprised by what I planted. A lot of sea berries, just like this one. That's not very obvious. This peach right here was actually the same. That's a contender peach. It's the same of the same kind that we just saw. That's not looking too good, but that kind of stands out because it's yellowing, right? But this sea berry, can't really. We just walk right by it because it's in the midst of all this grass and violets. So things like that peach tree, pear tree, things like that will be that much bigger next year, so it'll be easier to identify. So anyways, I'm gonna quit recording and get this posted. I need a break from the sun anyway, and I will get the two sides of this road trimmed down, mowed down. I'm glad that the city didn't come through and cut all this. I kind of want to do it myself. There's some sort of nitrogen fixing tree all along there. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm almost tempted to trim it all myself so the city doesn't come through, because they just absolutely destroy the whole area. It's kind of gross. But yeah, I start all the way up there and I just mow down here a couple passes. Keeps it neat and tidy. All the way down to that street sign there. So anyways, thanks for watching. This might be a little bit longer of a video, but I haven't really got out to walk around this forest on tape for a while, so that's about all I've got for today, and you guys have a good one. Alright, bye-bye.